sci-fi enthusiasts. This is the Sci-Fi Super Show, episode 10. A very special episode because, well, 10 is a good number. Especially when you don't have that many podcasts, but, it's my own opinion. Anyway, my name is Nick, or Nick Stens as I'm known on YouTube, of course, same as usual, yada yada yada. What is different, or not as different from last week, but once again, I am going solo this week, because figure that's for the best, for now. But that's not going to take away from the awesome experience you guys are going to have listening to this podcast right now. Alright, let's get into the first topic today. The first topic today is, well, it's a Marvel-related one. It's Asa Butterfield from Hugo and Ender's Game to be Marvel's newest radioactive spider-like man for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Marvel Studios and Sony Pictures have tapped the 18-year-old Brit to play Spider-Man in the upcoming Captain America Civil War, and beyond that. So, that's good that they have a new actor, and he's finally going to be with Iron Man and Captain America, and heck, he's going to be even in Civil War, which he has a huge part in. Unlike Thor, who doesn't really have that big of a part. But, Asa Butterfield, I'm not a big fan of him. I've seen him in Ender's Game. I wasn't a big fan. And I'm looking at pictures here, comparing him to, say, other Spider-Men that could have been. And it's just like, I don't see this kid as Spider-Man. I don't see him as Spider-Man. It's just, Andrew Garfield was much better. Tobey Maguire was okay, but he's far better than Asa Butterfield. Of course, this is just speculation, and we'll be able to see how he plays Peter Parker and Spider-Man in Civil War. Yep, and actually, he will be in Civil War before he headlines into his own standalone movie. And that standalone movie will, quote-unquote, swing into theaters July 28th, 2017. It's kind of convenient, actually. With Marvel Studios head Kevin Feige and former Sony co-chair Amy Pascal as co-producers. So that's good that Sony is still having help, or like Marvel is getting help from Sony. They have some sort of deal. Like, they didn't completely sign it over. They're like, alright, we gotten too much negative reviews from Amazing Spider-Man 2, so we're just going to give this to you because you guys know how to make good Marvel movies. So we'll give this to you, but you still need to put our name on it. Marvel's like, alright, we'll do that. And hopefully this deal will work out. I am really anxious to see it. But yeah, Captain America Civil War has already started filming in Atlanta, so there will be a little bit of pressure to put Spider-Man into that now, especially Asa Butterfield as that Spider-Man, but whatever. He's just, I don't see him as a great Peter Parker. I see him as, like, just not good enough. I feel like he would be close, but just not good enough. I don't know, that's just my worry. And I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong. But, yeah, that seems like what's gonna happen. It could really suck just because of this casting choice. But people have been wrong before. People didn't really care much for Heath Ledger being cast for the role of Joker in The Dark Knight until they saw it in theaters the day it came out. Like me, completely changed everybody's opinion on the guy. And now, he has one of the best Jokers ever. So, maybe I'm being too hard on Asa Butterfield, but, I mean, from what I'm seeing here, I'm not impressed. I'm worried, and I'm not impressed, but I'm willing to see how Marvel can do this. I trust Marvel, much more than Sony in the movie department. I trust Marvel much more now. So yeah, that's it for that piece of news. Anyway, this one is for me, Predator, and I guess stop motion animators like myself. It's just some small news. NECA, the toy company that makes all the awesome Alien, Predator, Terminator, Rambo, Commando, well, not Commando, just all sorts of... Oh, Godzilla, too. Godzilla. They do make Godzilla. Just all sorts of awesome figures with great articulation and great use for stop motion and modeling, I suppose. They're coming out with Series 14 to their NECA Predator line. And it's the Predators from Alien vs. Predator. That being Scar, Chopper, and Celtic. Or Celtic, however you want to pronounce it. I say Celtic, but whatever. So, you guys know my opinion on AVP. It's not the greatest Alien or Predator or crossover movie. I don't care for it that much. I don't even care much for the Predators either, but from what I'm seeing here from the recent NECA page, is that these look really cool. Heck, these smaller scale models could easily look better than they did in the movie. I swear, the ones from the movie look awful, but these, what I'm seeing right now, look a lot better. And NECA takes care of their models. They do a lot of great work with them. And that's why I have a lot of Predators and Aliens to help me do stop motion with. They're great. I love using them. And NECA, if you're listening to this, you know I use your figures. Just kidding. Well, no, I do, but just kidding about that. But yeah, that was just a piece of small news. Anyway, on to the bigger news, and it is certainly big. Anne Hathaway was making hang on. Okay, the latest Anne Hathaway project, Colossal, hopped onto Kane's audition block and found a lawsuit. This was a indie horror movie, or not horror movie, an indie intellectual monster movie starring Anne Hathaway. It's an indie monster movie. And it combines elements of Being John Malkovich, adaptation, and Godzilla. I'm reading this article on Uproxx right now. If you don't know what that is, just search Uproxx, because I haven't heard of it either until just now. But yeah, according to legal papers, Hathaway's indie film directly rips off the Godzilla character. So what I'm assuming is this Colossal is exactly Godzilla, which is ridiculous. But what's even stranger is the people that are suing them. It's Toho. Toho, the actual makers of Godzilla. They made Godzilla, making them some of the greatest film group, I guess you can call them, that's ever. Toho is amazing. They made every single Japanese Godzilla movie. Whether it was bad or good, they made all of them. And they're coming out with a new one next year, 2016, I believe. And they're working with Gareth Edwards on Godzilla 2 with Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, and Rodan, which I'm really hyped about. Get on the hype train because it is going all the way there. But yeah, Colossal's synopsis reveals Hathaway as Gloria, an ordinary woman, quote-unquote, tested by an extraordinary circumstance. She finds her life's purpose when Tokyo falls under attack by Godzilla. Godzilla in Tokyo. Yeah, this doesn't rip off Toho at all. No. Gloria gradually discovers that she's the only person who can save the world from destruction via the power of her mind. So kind of like, a little bit like how the fairies are with Mothra, except the fairies were spiritual and natural, whereas this is, human changed or whatever, genetically changed by humans. It's just... Okay, and this is what Toho is saying. With a Gareth Edwards Godzilla sequel from Legendary set for 2018. That's when Godzilla 2 is coming out. Toho obviously had a lot to say and show in their complaint today. Citing and show an alleged May 9th email to Voltage and... Hold on, I'm reading an article here, so I need to skip through a little bit of this. Okay. Claiming Colossal was about Tokyo being under attack by Godzilla and a giant robot. A giant robot. Really? You haven't seen a giant robot in a Godzilla franchise except for, I don't know, Mechagodzilla 1, 2, Kiru, Jaguar, Mogra, 2 different forms of Mogra, actually, and Mecha Kong, and just a whole lot of mechas. A whole lot of giant robots. I'm not gonna even mention Jaegers here. I'm talking about Toho monster machines. It's just... They're blatantly ripping off the whole premise of Godzilla movies, including the monster himself. Of course, I shouldn't be too hard on them, considering it is just an indie movie. But I mean, come on. Why do this? We all know Godzilla. We all know most of the monsters Godzilla fights. We're always going to compare it to Godzilla. So even if you do happen to make it without Toho, suing you over it, we're always going to say it may be good, it will probably be bad, but it is no way better than Godzilla the monster. Godzilla is unmatched, unbeaten, and will always be that. There is nothing that can defeat Godzilla. Nothing. Except maybe Goku. But that's a whole other thing. That's a whole other thing that I will not get into this week. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. Probably not. Maybe. Just have to wait and see. You'll have to tune in for the next few podcasts and see. Anyway, so yeah. Anne Hathaway's monster movie could have boasted indie status and star power of a recent Oscar win. Instead, Colossal sounds like a colossal lawsuit. And it probably is, especially if you're being sued by Toho, the makers of giant monsters. So this is going to be a giant lawsuit. That is all about that. So let's hope we hear more about that. So, okay. Away from that, we are very slowly counting down the days to the release of Jurassic World. I know I've talked about this with Alex and Will and maybe a few other people many times, and I'm just so excited. When I mentioned the hype train earlier, this Jurassic World hype train doesn't even compare to that. Mostly because it comes out sooner, but still, it's Jurassic World. It's Jurassic World back on Isla Nublar, and it comes out June 12th. It is so close. So close. I am recording this podcast on the 20th of May, and it is just so close. I'm so excited. So excited. I don't know how you guys are getting situated with the fact that it is so close to being here that we can practically go ahead and watch it. Not really, but still, I joke. I'm just super hyped! Super hyped. So hyped that I'm going to watch all 3 Jurassic Park movies in order from best to least, which is 1, 2, 3, strangely enough. But I am so hyped. I am so excited to see the T-Rex, the Velociraptors, Stegosaurus, Triceratops, Apatosaurus, freaking Mosasaurus, and the Indominus Rex. The Indominus Rex, one of the most powerful genetically altered dinosaurs. Probably the only canonical genetically altered dinosaur that actually made it into a park setting. Speaking of that, I've been having some thoughts in my head and with a few friends of mine of whether some certain creatures, or dinosaurs rather, how would they fare in a fight with each other? And I've seen countless videos on YouTube doing pivot animations, like 2D stick figure animations, with T-Rex, Spinosaurus, Carcharodontosaurus, Velociraptor, Allosaurus, Ceratosaurus. Heck, I've even done some myself, and I'm proud of them. Some people disagree with them, but honestly, it's Pivot. It's whatever the animator's opinion is, so just leave it at that. But, just a few questions. And these specific I'm going to be saying which would win in a fight between this guy and this guy, and these dinosaurs would be specific to movies they were in. So say the first one would be Peter Jackson's 2005 King Kong Vastosaurus, or Skull Island T-Rex, as people call it. That specific one, the last living one where his jaw was ripped apart. That one versus the Jurassic Park 3 Spinosaurus. I mean, something like that. Which one of those two would win? In my opinion, I see the way that the Vastosaurus fought Kong. It was a good fight, especially since Kong fought 3 at once, and just one could kind of put him off a little bit, and the Spinosaurus could fight off a T-Rex and kill it pretty easily, and smash through a broken down electrical fence in Jurassic Park 3. But this is a hard question because it's pretty even. I can admit it's pretty even, and these two creatures could go head to head, and any one of them could win. So it's, again, only really opinion based. I can't really put that in. But what I'm hoping is that when the Indominus Rex comes into view fully, when the movie is released, when Jurassic World is released on June 12th, that we will finally know how strong this guy is compared to the T-Rex. And we know that the Spinosaurus could kill a T-Rex easily. And we'll know whether this Indominus Rex is as strong as we think it is, or it's just another sideshow. In my opinion, with Vastosaurus and Spinosaurus, I would have to say it would probably be Spinosaurus. It'd be a very close fight, though. But I feel like the Spinosaurus would win. I know a lot of people don't really care about this, but this stuff just really excites me because, well, I love Jurassic Park and I love dinosaurs ever since I was born. So, and I know a lot of you do too. So, just food for thought there, just on dinosaurs and the Indominus Rex and see how they would fight with each other. I'm really excited for that movie. So yeah, those were the topics. Asa Butterfield as the new Spider-Man, NECA Predators, Anne Hathaway's Godzilla movie, or Colossal movie being sued, counting down the Jurassic World, and Vastosaurus versus Spinosaurus. I am now going to say some theories and predictions. My theory for Asa Butterfield being new Spider-Man, I'm worried, and I don't think it'll do good. I hate saying that because Civil War is one of the best Marvel storylines I've ever read. And Spider-Man is a key part in that. And I'm just worried that Asa Butterfield isn't going to do good. And that's just my prediction for that. The NECA Alien vs. Predator line, that'll be okay. I'll probably buy them. Anne Hathaway's movie being sued, that'll probably be continued to be sued by Toho, or hopefully they'll get their act together and be like, you know what, just ask us first at least, but do what you want. We've got business to do with Gareth Edwards and Legendary on this new Godzilla movie in 2018, and we've got our own Godzilla movie next year, and they'll just move on from that. So that's my prediction, that they'll just move on, hopefully. And Jurassic World, you guys know my opinion on that. It'll be freaking awesome, absolutely. But yeah, I know previously on this podcast we talked about Terminator a lot, the Terminator timeline and Skynet being real and all that. But can't always talk about that stuff, which I always want to. But I always try to get the more recent news, such as the Joker being with Harley Quinn in the in some of this new set videos where Joker's with Harley Quinn, which looks decent. Joker looked better than he did in the promotional pic, which apparently Harley Quinn was actually tattooing him, the Joker, and you couldn't see her because she was doing it on the back, and that's why Joker's hands was on his head. That's not what's gonna happen in the movie, I hope, but like that's what was happening in a promotional shot, but from the front. You couldn't see the back because Harley Quinn was in the back tattooing him from front to back. So that was a bit confusing, and that's just a promotional shot, which I am grateful for. Very grateful for. I'm looking on Facebook right now, and I'm seeing a lot of different stuff. That being Star Wars stuff, more alien stuff, again, Star Wars 7. Look at all this. There's a lot of Star Wars stuff. Oh my god, I haven't seen so many Star Wars! How many Star Wars are there? Only the one? Okay. Actually, that's not true. There's probably like 3 or 4. Well, now anyways. But, yeah, that's pretty much all the news I have to say. I mean, I'm looking through here, and I'm not seeing much else to discuss. NECA is making a replica Batarang from Arkham Knight. That's pretty awesome. Jason Voorhees is most horrifying character in Mortal Kombat. That is probably true until the Predator gets there, which is the next DLC. The Predator is going to be in Mortal Kombat X, and I cannot wait. Oh, okay, this is some pretty big news that was just posted 10 minutes ago. The Indominus Rex's movie official roar was finally revealed. I'm not going to listen to it because I'm trying to stay away from any kind of spoiler, any more spoilers at least, until June 11th, that night. I am really excited. No more spoilers, and I urge you guys to do the same. Just watch the first few trailers, watch a few viral videos featuring Chris Pratt because he's an amazing guy. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this Sci-Fi podcast. I wasn't much in it as I was last week, and I'm solo again, which is fine. I'm okay with doing solo. That way, I'm not on any kind of limitation. I can go anywhere I want. Freedom! Freedom! Alright, but that's all for this podcast. This was the Sci-Fi Super Show, episode 10. And a very special episode because 10 is a very good number in my opinion, especially when you don't have that many podcasts up. Of course, it's only 10, so I can't really say that for the future. But that is all for this podcast. My name is Nick, or Nick since I'm known on YouTube, and I'll probably be solo next week. But I don't know. And there could be new news. Hope there is. I will see you next time on the Sci-Fi Super Show, episode 11.